Hello guys, Currency Games here with another video. Today we're going to go over the long I took on Eurgbp. Along with that, we are also going to do our review of what I expect in price. It's January, so start of the year. Don't have too much expectancy for January. Already 3% up for the month, so there's not much more I can ask for. Again, it's January. We're just building that buffer in our account, and you know, just taking it slow to start off the year, easing into things. Nothing too major, just taking time. So let's go over our long we took on Eurgbp today. So let's start off with the high time frame and talk about my bias and the reasons why I took the long. So Eurgbp, we had this massive, well, not massive, but we had this bearish price action here in November, and we had a retracement into that zone, and again we are pushing back down off the breaker zone, you could say here. And as you can see, as we've pushed down, we have left a fair value gap last week. So last week, the ending of last week Friday, we had formed this fair value gap, and usually we can expect a retracement into that fair value gap. Now what almost, let's say, I wouldn't say confirmed, but what eluded to my bias today that we were going to go into that fair value gap was the raid on this daily low. So last week Friday we had a raid of this low, which then said to me, cool, we could potentially see a push into this high here, this daily high, which is just below the fair value gap here. So that was my draw, and then potentially if we hit that, we could then see bearish prices again, but we have to wait for confirmation for that. So here we had the raid of this low, which is on Friday the 12th of January, so that was last week Friday. And on the 4 hour, the price action is not the cleanest at the moment, but you can see the 4 hour also stung into this low here and gave us that bullish movement upwards down to the H1. Let me put the kill zone indicator on so it makes it a bit more clear. You can see on the H1, coming to London today, I wasn't really interested in too much. I was waiting to see whether we could get price action to reach this high. So really and truly, these highs here were my target for today. And on into the London session, you can see we pushed down into this H1 low here. So this low was the Sunday's low technically. We pushed into that. Going down to the 15-minute, you can see as we pushed into that, we created fair value gaps. And what the fair value gaps show us, that shows us momentum. Okay, so we made one fair value gap just here, very small one, and we made another fair value gap just here. So let me extend that out a bit, hold on. There we go. So once we made the push into we push upwards, and we created two fair value gaps plus breaking structure here, my entry was then of the top of that fair value gap, with my SL being 8 pips. Simple on 8. Hold on, what am I doing? Let me see this. There we go, it's 8 pips literally there. So it was just a bit below the low here, giving price some breathing room. And that's one thing I'm trying to do this year, is give my stop losses a bit more breathing room. I noticed last year a lot of my trades would get stopped out early and then continue in my same direction, purely because my stop loss was very tight. And my take profit was just a simple 2%. Okay, so now you can see, what was I targeting? My targets were these daily highs, which would have been in this week if a value gap, but we also have a high here we could have targeted, and these highs up here. Now when price got to let me get the replay tool. When price got to this level and started consolidating, I took off 80% of my position, purely because it's a Monday, the start of the week, start of the year, and not that I wasn't confident price would reach this level, but I just wanted to stay safe and secure my profit just in case we did have a retracement, which we did. So you can see price eventually, let me get to the, where is the, there it is. So you can see price eventually retraced back down, but my stop was just above break even. So, and 8% was taken off. So really and truly, what price done after this time didn't really matter too much to me. I was hoping that, well, hope is the wrong word. I was not trying to say, I don't want to use the right vocabulary for my psychology, to be fair. I was waiting to see whether this H1 fair value gap here would be the catalyst to push price back up into our TP and the daily high just below the weekly fair value gap. But as you can see, we tapped into it, which gave it a bit of a push, but it was just a retracement back into this M5 range from this high to this low. And you can see price just continued bearish, and we got stopped out just around this level here for just over a 1R position. So all in all, can't complain. That's 1% for today. What we're going to do is just going to go into the rest of the week and what I'm expecting for the rest of this week. 2 seconds, let me get rid of this now. So going into the rest of the week, as I said before, this daily fair value gap, weekly fair value gap is still my draw at the moment. H1 is breaking higher, but what I am cautious of is this price action here isn't the most clean price action at the moment. So if I don't see a clean entry for London or New York tomorrow to push into this daily high, I will be just sitting on my hands and waiting for a potential reversal of this weekly level just above here. Okay, going into USD, similar thing. On the weekly time frame, we have this weekly level here, this weekly block that we've tapped into and rejected off of. But what we need to be wary of as well, we have this weekly fair value gap just here. So at the moment, we're stuck in between a discount and a premium in price, which can create such seek and destroy conditions. I said search and destroy, I'm feeling Call of Duty, but yeah, it can make seek and destroy conditions. So in reality, we are waiting to see whether we can attack this weekly fair value gap. Let me get the drawing tool, whether we can attack this weekly fair value gap and see potential movement down. Let me drive it bar. Attack this weekly fair value gap here, see a potential retracement down, or whether we potentially come off that bounce and go back up to tap these highs, which would respect this weekly order block. But that is pretty much what I'm waiting for in USD. Nothing much at the moment, because as you can see, this for the past week or so just been in a consolidation. So we are not going to force anything in price right now. We're just waiting for the higher time frames to give us the narrative and the bias to go long or go short. Ideally, I'm expecting shorts after the week fair value gap potentially, but again, we just have to wait and see what happens. So yeah, one thing to note as well, we've got this fair value gap down here, which could be a potential draw if we were to tap into this week fair value gap, but we just got to wait and see what price delivers. I'm not going to be too focused on the bias right now until we get some sort of displacement higher or lower, but it's just a waiting game at the moment. Okay, so that's all for today, and we'll be back again with another video.